Hey there, sorry to time break into your regularly scheduled program, but just want to let you know that I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm kind of on Twitter. Been having fun on both of them, so why don't you give it a little look-see? Well, that's pretty much it for now. I'll let time resume as it does usually. Hey there, I think I like this new format, so I'm going to be keeping it for a while, or at least until I figure out something that's even better. But without further ado, let's get right into this update. So first and foremost, a lot of gameplay has dropped for Sonic Colors Ultimate, with many of the people that got their hands on it having played through streamed versions of it, and not the full version itself. Despite that, and maybe their grievances with the controls since it was streamed, many of the problems still seem to be getting tweaked, such as the lighting, which is looking better with each preview, but only time will tell once the full game is available to the public. The things that have taken my interest other than the improved graphics are the new additions to the game from all the previews that I've seen, such as the new customizations and the Jade Ghost Wisp. Having got a better look at it now, since I haven't seen it in action myself before only through screenshots, seems like a hover but with a grapple hook feature to specific areas, which will allow it to even pass through walls, and also looks like a pseudo homing attack in a sense where you can lock onto enemies. Gonna have to get more info on that in the future. I hope they go a little bit more in depth on that, or maybe it's just maybe I'm just overthinking how the mechanic will look. Although from a Nintendo Life video that I saw, there will be some new secret areas that will be made specifically for the Jade Ghost Wisp, and I'm wondering how that will balance out with the game design of the original game, since it seems like they're leaving everything else intact. Customization looks like it'll be decent and has a large selection of choices ranging from the gloves, shoes, auras, boost effects, player icons, and custom controls. And thank goodness for the custom controls. At first, I didn't really care too much about the cosmetic items, as I was thinking I would keep Sonic pretty much on his default look. But now seeing the effects, I'm very excited for them, especially like the jeweled options for the shoes, or even the stuff like the flower pattern and the auras. You can make Sonic look like he was going super without it, and I really like that. It's the closest thing to having just straight up switching the color of Sonic's quills or fur. I'm gonna say quills for now. The player icons also had a nice selection. I noticed several Knights, Skies of Arcadia, and Monkey Ball pictures, to name a few. Nice to see that it's not just limited to Sonic characters and items, but it gets me thinking how this will affect the multiplayer aspect of the game, because this can't be just for like a cosmetic UI thing or leaderboards, I'm hoping, since they haven't said anything about multiplayer, at least to my knowledge, and I'm wondering what they're going to do with the whole custom character thing that they have in place for the Miis. Maybe we're just gonna have different color Sonics, or well, I guess that's what the customization is for in the end, but who knows. I'm really hoping that we get more info on that, because the Game Land Simulator was pretty much one of my favorite aspects of Sonic Colors, and it was already a really good game at that. Supersonic is confirmed to be usable in the game through the Options satellite menu. I wonder if they will make it so that racing Metal Sonic in the Rival Rush provides the Chaos Emeralds. The old way was to get the red rings through the stages and then do all the Game Land stages in the Sonic Simulator, if I remember correctly, or, well, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Also forgot to mention that it looked like in the Options satellite menu, we get clues as to how to unlock the other versions of songs for the game itself, either through beating a level or defeating a certain boss, which I'm glad to see that we definitely can change music, or possibly, since it's just a tab. The other was like unlocking a special video. I'm left with less questions, but I want answers, but hopefully that will get answered in some of the Sonic Stadium interview I'll be going over next, more or less giving a quick summary of the points that I took interest in. I'll leave a link in the description for anybody that wants to read the full article themselves. The interview pretty much goes over the process of remastering the game itself. The game seems to be practically built from the ground up, because they didn't want to simply do things like port the game. Just porting straight to PC would have issues pop up, like the game running with too high of a frame rate. I'm thinking that this has something to do with screen tears, as in games like in Genshin Impact, VSync is there to stop that, since it limits the amount of frames that you can go up to in a game, so that the screen, you don't see those lines or, well, screen tears going through it. Another problem was that there was a lot of Nintendo specific code that messed with transferring stuff from the original game, so they opted to remake many of those things, such as lighting, effects, and animations, which they stated that Blind Squirrel Games did very well on remaking and getting it into the new engine. On top of that, I am today years old finding out that Blind Squirrel Games is making the remaster, or, well, Sonic Colors Ultimate itself, as I usually assume that it's like a sub-team of whatever publisher it is, like, we'll say Sonic Team, making remasters or stuff like that. So good to know. I'm gonna go look them up a little bit more later after this. They state that they wanted the game to look good against today's standards, which meant improving frame rate, remixing audio, and sound effects while adding something new, so it wasn't just the same game upscaled. They did things like refining the wisp control so it no longer needs motion controls, thank goodness, improve stage hazard alerts, modifying movement for Sonic himself. Things that were mentioned regarding this are altered wall jumps so that they feel less sticky and make the jumping in Sonic's movement easier so it's less punishing and more exciting to play. Speaking of punishing gameplay, they mentioned the Tails lives and how the game will be more checkpoint focused instead of hard resetting progress after losing all your lives, because forcing players to navigate through menus and replaying everything over again would kill enthusiasm. I actually can relate to this because it's happened to me I think once or twice on my original playthrough, where I would get lost looking for, say, red rings, or just not knowing where to go, because there are some levels like the Sweet Mountain level where it's just you're going around in circles, and I ran out of time or I just died straight up and I had to go back several points after. Despite wanting to enhance the enjoyment of the game, it was important to keep the original essence of the first game, so the game is kept the same outside of customization, Rival Rush, and the Jade Wisp, which they adapted into the new game. Finally, they bring up how they wanted to give the environments more life with new effects, and how hard Jun Sonoe and the team worked on new audio/music despite all the problems they had during the pandemic. There is more bits here and there, but again, I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go over the entire article itself. Reading all that, I'm actually also wondering what's going on with the cutscenes in the game, because from the gameplay previews that I've seen, it actually looks like they are the same exact cutscenes from Sonic Colors and not something that was newly rendered for Sonic Colors Ultimate or something in the new engine. Little worried on that part, but hopefully they can do something about it, especially since for people that have already played the game, it's going to be alright, I guess. They might even just skip it altogether. But for people who this may even be their first time playing a Sonic game, it's going to be really jarring. So that's all for now. If you guys like this, leave a like and a comment. And with that, peace out.